Kent Adams here, and welcome to Where News Matters at Spokane Talks. Today we're going to go back and look at Expo 74 and talk about things related to that. My guest was out of town during Expo 74, and I was still in Los Angeles. So we'll just have to see how this goes right after this.
Hi, this is Larry Myers, normally at River Ridge Hardware, here at Peters Hardware, where I've been blessed to be able to buy it. Initially started in 1934 by Bill Peters, and I was blessed to be able to purchase that from the Peters family. Peters Hardware is located at 12118 East Sprague, enter off of Pines and First. We have all the quality home products that you need, including quality paint now where we can match any color that you want. We're here for you for all your home needs. Come on by to Peters Hardware in Spokane Valley.
Well, this great city of Spokane put on an extravaganza, if you will, in 1974 called the World's Fair. There are a lot of things leading up to it and a lot of things that have happened since. My guest is John Wallingford. How are you today?
I'm terrific, thanks.
Yeah. Now, you were telling me before we went on the air that you were in Spokane, but you left to go to college or something during the World's Fair?
Yeah, I was working on the coast, so I wasn't in town for the big event.
Oh, you missed it. Because it was only, what, like 4 months, 5 months, something like that?
Pretty short time over the summer.
Right,
Yep.
over the summer. And if you're working a summer job somewhere else, it makes it kind of tough, doesn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah, well, my story, as I mentioned to you before, was I was in Los Angeles and one of my former bosses brought his whole family up to see. He actually grew up in Wenatchee, Yakima area and so forth. So he brought the family up. Little did I know when he came back and told me all about the World's Fair and so forth, that I'd be up here 2 years after the World's Fair at the Chamber of Commerce. And I asked you if you had seen that, I think it was 8 or 16 slide projector show that the Chamber did on the Expo leading up to it. My first day, I think I spent like 4 hours seeing it over and over again because that was my job,
What
was
an
to show
introduction.
that.
Welcome to town.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding. But what was fun, John, was that a lot of the people and the names and the companies depicted in that leading up to, especially the World's Fair, were people that were involved in the Chamber of Commerce. So over the next few months, I got to meet all those people, and I felt like I knew them because they had been on the slide presentation. But it was a work to get to Expo 74, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a terrific amount of work.
Yeah.
And for a small group of people to take that on was
Right.
an amazing thing.
Yeah. And they had a public vote, and there was a no.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like what we just had with the Albee Stadium thing, right?
Yes,
There was a
yes.
public referendum and people said no, and then there was a second view on how it should go forward, and the business community, in the meantime, marshaled the forces and looked at the advantages they could get out of going forward and made a better sell.
Yeah. Well, and they taxed themselves.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. And which, since I've been here in Spokane, has always been the business community doesn't want the B&O tax and all of that. But, and then when I learned that they taxed themselves for Expo, but there was a reason for that and what came from that. You look at, in the 45 years that I've been here since 1976, you look at what's happened to downtown as a result. Not to mention that the Expo site has been updated after 40 years, right, and with the wear and tear and everything else on it. And some of the things were just plain getting old, but the goat is still there, and that is still the #1 attraction. I don't know if people understand that. And I loved it on April 1st. There was an April Fool's Day joke about taking and selling the goat to somebody else or something on Facebook.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on Facebook, April Fool's Day kind of thing. There are a lot of those things. You couldn't believe half you can't believe half what you see on Facebook to start with, and the other half was covered on April Fool's Day. That's right. And so a lot transformed in downtown Spokane. A lot happened. Talk to us about that.
I mean, the most important thing that happened is Spokane reclaimed the river as its prize.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that's what has lasted. Yes, we've had to redo the buildings and some of the structure around the river, but the river is its own entity.
And even views of the river have improved.
Yeah. Not that there were any bad river views
No,
before.
no.
Yeah. We used to hike down underneath the Monroe Street Bridge to get down on the water.
Yes.
On a dirt trail, and nobody knew you were down there. It was kind of scary.
Yeah.
But it was a special place.
Yes.
And I think there are still some special places, the Gathering Center and down below at the river below the falls,
Right.
where you get some spectacular views both upriver and downriver.
Right.
So the reclaiming of the river is the legacy.
Yes.
And I think the parts of that had to happen, the relocation of the rail lines and that sort of thing, changing it from an industrial setting to a natural setting is really an important step for Spokane.
Yes.
The Spokane River is listed as one of the most attractive rivers in a city in the country. And I think people here do appreciate that, even if we don't call it out. We really do appreciate it. Right now, it's spectacular.
Yes, isn't it? Isn't it? And I think of the icons that we see of the clock tower and the tent are used for so many things to identify Spokane around the country.
Yeah, great photographic opportunities.
Oh, yes, yes.
The fall leaves in front of the still water in front of the clock tower. What a
Yes.
composition.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's the legacy. That's what's been the sustaining influence of Expo 74.
Right.
And I think that was a leadership role that Spokane showed could be done.
Right.
Other people, other cities have modeled on that. And I think that's, it's one of the things that we're thinking about now. We're getting close to the 50th anniversary of Expo.
Yeah.
And we're thinking, well, what do we do now? What's next? Where's the leadership role that Spokane can show?
So what is next, John?
Well, that's what we're trying to start the conversation.
Okay.
We have this conference coming up in a couple of weeks now. We call it Hope for Creation. It'll be at St. John's Cathedral,
Okay.
12th and Grand. And the idea there is the conversation around Expo 74 happened a few years in advance of
Yes.
the organization and the petition to have it be a World's Fair.
Right.
What could be done? And that conversation we haven't seen started yet about the 50th anniversary.
Okay.
So our objective is to kick off that conversation. What
Good.
is
Good.
going to happen? And our ultimate objective for our conference is to have the participants share their thoughts about what care we can show as a city for the environment and what leadership we can offer both in the city and more broadly about care for the environment going forward.
The good news is we have a couple of years to prepare. We don't need as much in terms of work on the site as we did to get ready for 74. But what kinds of things can we do to honor and highlight the treasure we have in Spokane with that river?
Well, yeah, I mean, it has to go beyond the river. I think the river is a great accomplishment,
Right.
and what we've done there is terrific. What we're trying to do this year is to think back on the Expo themes. There were three.
Okay.
There was the land and the air and the water.
Okay.
And there's a lot of conversation around air
Yes.
in the public media.
Right.
So we didn't think we had a lot to contribute there. And the water component does need to be revisited.
Okay.
There are still issues around water quality and toxins in the river. And
Right.
That's
And
that's
junk
stuff-
being thrown in and
Oh
all.
yeah.
Yes.
How many tons of litter get pulled out of the river every year?
Yeah.
But there's not as much attention to land.
Okay.
And so we chose to have our conference have a land focus.
Oh, okay. Good.
And there's a couple of areas of great interest. I mean, everyone here appreciates the value that the Palouse farmland and the dryland wheat areas have.
Right.
And they appreciate the value that the forests in the northern and the eastern regions provide to Spokane. Those areas of agriculture whether it's in cropland or it's in forests, are both areas that we need to pay special attention to.
Okay.
So we have speakers that are going to talk about regenerative agriculture
Okay.
and about use of biochar as a soil amendment.
Say what?
Biochar,
Yeah, explain that.
yeah, biochar. When you burn your fireplace and you get a bunch of ash,
Okay.
you've completely combusted the carbon that's in that material, in that
Okay.
wood. But if you are burning something and then cover it so it no longer consumes oxygen, then you burn off the gases that are native in that substrate, in that wood, and you end up with charcoal.
Oh, okay.
Charcoal is a really terrific collector of water. It's a collector for microorganisms to grow.
Okay.
It's a natural fertilizer,
Wow.
given a chance.
I knew some of that, but I didn't know the scope.
And we've got this great opportunity here with forests that have an abundance of downed fuel
Yes.
on the floor, a risk for wildfire.
Yes.
We have the opportunity to mitigate the fire risk at the same time we're producing fertilizer.
Ah, okay.
That's the kind of thing that we have to think about going forward. How do
kind of a 2-for-1.
How do you do that? It's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
The land, other issues come into play as well. Spokane's going through phenomenal growth.
Yes.
And the use of land that once was for farms
Yes.
and is now for shopping malls.
Yes.
I mean, that's an issue that we have to be a little more mindful about.
Right.
Suburban sprawl is something that Spokane hasn't had to worry about till now.
Yes. Well, someone said, well, talk about in south of here, southeast of here, and so forth, the downsizing of family farms and acreage from
Exactly.
5 acres to 2, and
Right.
eventually what else is going to happen there?
And America's got a dream of everybody gets a 10-acre plot and does what they want to do. And
I remember those days.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of value in that.
Yes.
I think people that are on the land and caring for the land are great stewards of the land.
Yes.
So some guidance and some help along the way can help make that be a positive thing.
Right. Right.
So there's questions like that. I read a book that was called Land that talked about a recent change in Scotland,
Okay.
where now when big parcels of land that have been owned by wealthy persons come onto the market, the local community is invited to purchase the land as a community.
Ah, okay.
What a novel idea.
Yeah.
I think that's not the kind of thing that America has thought about much, and I don't think Spokane's thought about that
Probably
much.
not, no.
But this conference is a chance to air that kind of idea out
Okay.
and see if there's any uptake.
Tell me about the conference, when and where, and can people attend? Is it all of that?
Well, the conference is on Friday and Saturday, April 22nd and 23rd.
Okay.
It's at the cathedral, top of the hill, the Grand Hill.
I know
at
the
12th
area
and
because
Grand.
I live near it.
Right?
Yeah.
We're going to close off the street, and we've got 2 days that are a mix. We have 3 parts of this. There are speakers that
Yes.
have expertise. We have speakers exactly on that biochar that we were talking
Oh,
about.
wonderful.
One of the persons that founded biochar as an institution is from Colville. Worked in the Forest Service. Gloria
Sure.
Flora. She's one of our speakers.
Right, a local.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, everybody, I should say this, Kent, all of our speakers are local.
Oh, good, good.
That's because Spokane's environmental fair was done by local people.
Point well taken.
We
Yes.
want to put it back together where it was to
Yes.
start.
Good.
We start on Friday at 9:15. Mayor Woodward's going to come and welcome the group.
Good.
We're pleased about that.
Yes.
We have speakers throughout the morning, and then we break in order to allow people to participate in an Earth Day march.
Ah, okay.
So there's an early afternoon break from 1 till 3. We have some videos we're going to show then.
Okay.
So it's not like we're going to abandon the folks that want to stay.
Yeah, yeah.
At 3 o'clock, we pick back up with the second part of our effort. So
Okay.
the first part is speakers.
Yes.
The second part is discussion groups.
Oh, okay.
We have 11 discussion groups in the 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Where moderators with expertise in that area are going to try to tease out from the audience the kinds of thinking that will come forward later when they propose ideas.
Now, will this be one thing at a time or several at a time?
We have 5 at one time.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
So
from 3
people
o'clock-
have choices.
Yeah, you'll have to make a choice, unfortunately.
yeah.
So from 3 to 4, we have our first set of 5 discussion groups.
Okay,
And then there's a half-hour break, and at 4:30, we are pleased to host the annual Earth Day Vigil
okay,
that is put on by Spokane's faith leaders and leaders of conscience.
okay,
It's usually down at the gathering place,
okay, yes.
and I've been to that in a previous year and rang our cathedral bells as part of that
Oh, fun.
celebration. But this year, they're going to come and have their Earth Day Vigil at the cathedral.
Okay, good,
So we're really pleased about that, and that will finish the Friday event.
nice.
That gives everybody that goes on the march a chance to get back and participate in the vigil.
Right, right, right. And then you have Saturday.
And then we have Saturday. So we have speakers again to start the day.
Okay,
And we can talk about the individual speakers and some of the things that are going to be focused on in those talks. In fact, I'll mention one. After the morning presentations and the second set of discussion groups,
okay,
we have a special street fair.
okay.
So the street fair is where we have the third component, which is exhibitions
Okay.
by local groups that have concerns about care for the land.
Okay,
They're wide-ranging. We have from well-known entities like the Sierra Club
okay.
to marl worm growers. Because
But they
worms
all
are
have a
really
part.
important. Worms are critically important
Yes.
in the quality of the soil.
Yeah.
And we want to feature that.
Bees?
We have beekeepers.
Okay.
Yes, we do. We're going to have
Because
live
I keep
hives.
reading more and more how important that industry is.
That's right. And
Yes.
so those are going to be there. And they range from those to electric car enthusiasts.
Okay, yes.
All right. So we're going to have electric cars that people may not have had a chance to see
Yes.
parked in our closed off part of the street.
Okay,
So we have this fair with the exhibits.
yes.
One of the exhibits is an art exhibit
Okay, good.
that's being put together with the help of Terrain, our local art advocacy group.
Okay, great.
And we have a number of two-dimensional artworks that'll be displayed inside the cathedral's gathering room, our great hall.
Okay.
Actually, I have to go over there later today to practice hanging up the art.
Oh, boy.
So that's going
Yes.
to be fun.
Carefully.
And we also have live music,
Okay,
and we have food trucks. So this is an opportunity for no charge to be embedded inside our conference, a free street fair.
I was just going to ask you about the price because I figured you were going to charge something for this.
Well, we
for
asked
the, for the food, obviously.
They have to buy your own food.
Yeah.
For the conference itself, the 2-day event, we're asking for a $20
Okay.
fee for that,
Okay.
which also includes your reception at the end.
Okay.
But it's all the opportunity to meet and greet and listen, be educated.
That's really reasonable
Express your
price.
opinion.
Yes.
And if you're a student, it's half the price.
Okay.
So, we're aware that not everybody can make the $20, but
Right.
we're hopeful that'll do it.
Yeah.
Keep this effort lively
Okay.
and give us enough support that we can do it again and focus on water next year.
Okay. Okay. And
So that's the final session of the whole day. Before I get to the final session, the two that lead up to it are really important. So after the street fair, we come back into plenary in the cathedral, and we have two really important talks. Kara Odegaard is going to present on the Spokane Sustainability Action Plan.
okay.
That's the current forward thinking of what Spokane's doing in caring for the whole community, environmentally and otherwise.
Right.
And a lot of people have some awareness of that, but a lot of people don't.
Faintly heard of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
You make my point.
Yeah.
So Kara worked on this for years. We had her scheduled to talk 2 years ago on the predecessor to this plan.
It's something about a pandemic?
Yeah, something
Yeah,
about it.
I know.
And now she's got the plan in hand. So
Okay.
we're going to get a full report from
Oh,
her.
fun.
And then the last speaker before we go into our open idea session is Professor of History from Eastern Washington, Bill Youngs,
Okay.
who wrote the history of Spokane's Expo 74, the fair and the
Oh,
falls.
I love it.
And so he's going to talk about what was happening 50 years ago
Yes.
and what's happened since and what
Yes.
we need to do now.
Yes.
And I think those two talks in tandem set people up with, let's talk about what we can do.
You know what I see is a great opportunity in the 2 days for people to get so much information on our river and our downtown and all of that, that it's all in one place. You know, there might be a story here and a story there, and the news covers it usually if there's a problem going on or something like that. But here's an opportunity to learn from the creation of Expo to what we're doing now and what we can do and what we need to do.
I think that's just right. And it's
Yeah.
not coincidental that this is going to happen on Earth Day.
Yes.
Now, Spokane doesn't have a tradition of big events
Right.
on Earth Day.
Right.
And I think,
But I've always honored it one way or the other,
Yes.
but that's about it.
but, you know,
Yeah.
a nod here and a nod
Yeah,
there, and
yeah.
you know, it hasn't been well attended.
Right.
And I think this is perhaps one of the ways that we draw attention to Earth Day itself.
Right.
And be a little bit more intentional in celebrating.
Well, and I think a lot comes back when it impacts me as a participant, not meaning Kent, but me as an individual out there, that now I can get some information in these 2 days. I may not be able to attend all of what's going on, but I can pick pieces and so forth. And I assume there will be information coming out and
is.
and so forth on it. Which brings up a point, where can people get information on this? Because here we've talked about it. We've set the fire under a couple people that want to know more. Where do they go?
Right. Well, we have been blessed to have some collaborators in this effort. Whitworth University's Office of Church Engagement
Yes.
is one of our primary co-sponsors.
Wonderful.
And they host the website.
Okay.
If you Google Hope for Creation, which is the name of our conference,
Okay.
it will drive you to the Whitworth page,
Okay.
which has information on the plenary speakers. It has their bios. It has information on the discussion groups, what the
Good for
topics are going to
them.
be.
That's great.
It has information on the exhibitors and what's going to be there at the street fair. So there's a lot of information, and there's the registration page,
Okay.
which
Okay.
allows you to sign up, and we'll have your information so that we can give you a badge and bring you on in.
Right.
So that's the primary place for information.
Now, when you said you're going to close down the street, you're not closing down the main drag. All
Yeah,
right.
we thought about that.
Yeah.
We wanted to
Because
get
you
some
would catch
attention.
people's attention,
That's right.
okay?
Well,
But the side street there of the church.
Right, just
Yeah.
at the top of the hill there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a couple blocks.
Yeah.
And that's what we need for the fair. It gives the musicians a central place. and
Sure.
Gives a place for the exhibitors outside.
You're going to have music.
We have music.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Music, art, food.
You're giving everybody an excuse to go.
I hope so.
I mean, really, when it comes
I
down
really
to it.
want this to be a civic engagement.
And you're going to probably tell me, well, you can walk there from home.
You can walk there from
Yeah.
home. And you should walk there
Yes,
from home.
I know,
And if
I
you
know.
don't walk, you should take your bicycle.
Yes.
So you don't have to drive.
Well, but I don't want to fall because I haven't ridden a bicycle for a number of decades. So we say it that way. But yes.
That makes me think I should have reached out to the bicycle community to see if they'd
Yes.
want to bring an event.
Yes.
Put up a booth.
Absolutely.
I'll have to-
Okay. I
yeah.
think they're going to get a call today.
Right. We'll get you a three-wheeler.
That might help. Yes. Yes. I love it. John, this sounds really exciting. Have we left anything out because we've told people where to get information. We've told them the dates.
Yep.
There's a small charge. $20 for 2 days
Yep.
is nothing. It really isn't.
It's not much. I do
Is
think,
there a discount for kids if kids come?
I haven't actually had a separate pricing for kids.
Okay.
But great, we'll give them a student rate.
Yeah,
Right? They're all students
Yeah,
of the
just because
time,
I mean,
right?
a family will want to come. You
Sure.
know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
and
great.
learn. Yeah.
I guess I would say I mentioned the Earth Day Vigil.
Yes.
And that's put on by the faith leaders.
Okay.
And they have also added a panel discussion on Friday.
Okay.
That's an interfaith group.
Okay.
So with Buddhists and Hindus and Sikhs and Jains, Muslims, Jews, and Christians, all speaking about how their faith informs care for creation.
Yes. Okay.
And I think that's an element that we want to make sure people are aware of,
Yeah.
that this is being centered at a place of worship,
Yes.
a faith community,
Yes.
and the reverence for the earth, something that we share with Native Americans, something that we share with really, I think, everybody.
Yes. Yes.
That's one of the things that we're trying to pull together. We all have a common love for the earth.
Yes.
And we need to find a way of preserving it, protecting it.
We all
and
have our
supporting it.
special ways.
Right.
I mean, to me, it's going to the high Sierras. It's a whole. I literally, when I drive up in that area near Mammoth Lakes, because I lived in Southern California, I can feel my heart rate change because it's peaceful, it's beautiful. We all have places, whether it be Riverfront Park or over in Idaho at one of the mountains or even here. We all have place and we all love the earth, but we don't sometimes express that.
And I think Spokaneites generally revere living here.
Yes.
Because they appreciate we have a really special environmental place.
Right.
And that's where one of the reasons I think Spokane has a leadership role.
Yes.
We have a lot we know that we love.
Well, we
have to
did it
share
before and we can do it again.
That's right. That's
right?
what we hope. Yes.
Yeah, almost 50 years later.
Coming up on 50 years.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to be there. I'm going to walk down. We'll see.
Great.
Hope I can say that without it being a snow day or a rain day. Or
Bring the sun with you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll work on that. Connor, do you hear that? We need a good sunny day, or two sunny days.
2 days would be good.
John, thank you very much for this. This is great. It's a lot of effort that you and your team are going.
A great
through.
team.
Yeah, that really makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about this, and we hope that people show up.
I love the collaboration with Whitworth and others around town, the cathedral and so forth. It says so much about our community.
Ken, I want to make sure that if I didn't mention, I want to make sure to mention Gonzaga's new Center for Climate, Society, and the Environment has been a terrific sponsor for this.
Oh, good,
co-sponsor.
good.
Terrain has been a terrific co-sponsor, and Fig Tree as well.
Right.
So we've had some really good sponsors along the way.
Great. We have to count on them to help us, don't we?
And the city has been terrific on this too.
Good. John, thank you very much.
You bet.
We'll all see you there on the
22nd and 23rd.
23rd of April, St. John's Cathedral. Take care, everybody.
Are you looking for something generational, timeless, with historical truth? Then We the People Interactive Calendar is right for you, designed for the generations. With over hundreds of historical dates and funny cartoons, We the People Calendar makes the perfect conversation starter about America's history, what the founders intended, and why it's important today. Our mission is to expand conversations as we all learn together in our pursuit of truths. Let us add to the legacy of our ancestors. To get started, scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen and begin your conversation today.